If you're a man in love, this video will either save your relationship or shatter your illusions, but it will open your eyes. Because whether we like it or not, cheating doesn't just happen out of nowhere. There are signs, and today, I'm going to expose the 4 most common signs every woman shows before she cheats. Not maybe, not sometimes, always. So brace yourself. This might sting, but the truth is better than betrayal. Now, let's go deep, because sign 1 is where the cheating starts not physically, but emotionally, and most men never see it coming. She doesn't start with lies. She starts with silence. One day, she stops telling you how her day was. She stops asking about yours. You notice she's there, but not really. Her body is present, but her mind is drifting in a world you no longer belong to. And you feel it, don't you? That chill, that space between you growing wider, even when you're sitting next to each other on the couch. That's not imagination. That's emotional detachment, and for many women, it's the first step toward infidelity. According to relationship psychologist Esther Perel, emotional disconnection precedes most affairs, not the other way around. Women don't usually cheat out of boredom or lust alone. They cheat when the emotional intimacy in their current relationship feels dead, not because it is, but because they've stopped watering it. And if a woman feels unseen, unheard, or emotionally unsafe, she starts to retreat. Not always to another man, but at first to herself. That's the warning, that's the crack in the glass. But here's the part that hits the hardest. When emotional detachment sets in, she no longer feels the need to explain herself. She starts creating a psychological distance to justify actions she hasn't taken yet, but is already imagining. She becomes defensive when you ask simple questions. She shrinks from vulnerability. Why? Because vulnerability leads to guilt. And guilt is inconvenient when you're already mentally checking out. This isn't about blame, it's about recognition. You deserve to know when the person you love has stopped showing up in the ways that matter. Emotional detachment doesn't mean she's cheating yet, but it does mean the connection that protects your relationship is breaking down. And left unaddressed, it will lead somewhere darker. Studies from the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy confirm that emotional dissatisfaction is one of the top predictors of female infidelity, far more than physical attraction or opportunity. So stop ignoring the silence. Stop brushing off the gut feeling that something's off. Emotional detachment is not subtle. It's a shift, it's a pattern. It's the beginning of a story most men don't want to read until it's too late. Don't wait for physical betrayal to validate your intuition. Start listening to what her presence or absence is telling you now. Because the truth, cheating begins long before she touches another man. It begins when she stops touching your soul. And if you're still watching, that means you already know something's changed. Increased privacy and a shift in communication patterns something changes. It's quiet at first, almost unnoticeable. She starts turning her phone face down. Passwords appear where there were none before. She steps out to take certain calls. Messages get deleted. Conversations once held in the open now happen behind closed doors. And when you ask a question, the answers get shorter, colder, defensive. You're not imagining it. You're watching the walls go up. When a woman begins to cheat, or even entertains the idea, secrecy becomes survival. According to studies published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, secrecy is one of the earliest behavioral shifts in unfaithful partners. It's not just about hiding a person. It's about hiding a new identity, one where she doesn't have to explain herself to you anymore. You used to know who she was texting. Now the notifications are silent. You used to share inside jokes. Now She laughs at things she doesn't explain. The language between you shifts. It's no longer we, it's I. My time, my space, my phone. And that change in pronouns isn't small. Psychologists call it linguistic distancing, and it's a subconscious way of separating herself from the relationship. But here's what stings the most. It's not always malicious. Sometimes she's not hiding someone, she's hiding guilt. The privacy isn't always about protecting the affair. Sometimes it's about protecting herself from the pain of knowing she's betraying someone who still trusts her. Yet, no matter the reason, the result is the same. Communication dies. Transparency becomes tension. You stop talking, not because you don't care, but because you're afraid of what you'll find. That fear, that hesitation to ask questions you used to ask freely, that's the poison of secrecy doing its job. A healthy relationship has nothing to hide. When she starts protecting her devices more than your connection, you're not just losing access, you're losing intimacy. And when communication becomes a threat instead of a bridge, it's time to stop pretending everything's fine. Because privacy isn't the problem, the sudden need for it is. Hyper criticism of you and the relationship suddenly. Everything you do is wrong. The way you chew, the way you talk, how you dress, how you sleep. You used to be her peace now. You're her problem. And the worst part, you haven't changed and she has. This isn't normal frustration. This is targeted dissatisfaction. It's criticism fueled by emotional projection, and it's one of the clearest signs that she's checked out, or worse, comparing you to someone else. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance reduction. When a woman is emotionally or physically stepping outside the relationship, the guilt clashes with the image she has of herself loyal, loving, honest. So, what does the brain do? It protects her, it shifts the blame, it convinces her that you are the reason she's drifting. Suddenly, the relationship feels suffocating, the house too small, your personality too familiar, too boring, too predictable. She magnifies your flaws, even the harmless ones. Where she once saw quirks, she now sees failures. Where she used to encourage, she now criticizes. And the affection, gone, replaced by sarcasm, irritation, and silence. The love that once flowed without effort now has terms, conditions, and complaints. But don't get it twisted. This isn't about you being perfect. No one is. But when criticism becomes constant, cruel, or conveniently timed right when her phone habits change, right when her schedule gets vague, right when she starts needing space, it's a sign she may be rewriting the narrative of your relationship to justify what she's doing, or what she plans to do. This kind of criticism isn't constructive, it's corrosive. It's a slow erosion of respect, designed to create emotional distance where love once lived. You're no longer her partner. You're the excuse she needs to emotionally disengage. And if you're constantly asking yourself, why is nothing I do good enough anymore? Don't ignore that question. She's not just attacking your actions. She's preparing herself to detach from your identity. A sudden boost in appearance or social media presence out of nowhere, she's glowing. Not just the regular I feel good today kind of glow, but a noticeable, intentional transformation. New outfits, new makeup, a different hairstyle. She's working out more, eating cleaner, spending hours on her appearance. And while self-care is healthy, this shift isn't about her. It's about being seen by someone new. According to behavioral psychology, when people anticipate romantic or sexual attention, they unconsciously enhance their appearance. It's called mate signaling, a deep, primal instinct to attract. But here's what makes it dangerous. When this glow up doesn't include you, when she doesn't ask for your opinion, doesn't dress up for your date nights, doesn't care what you think, it's not for you. It's for someone else, someone she wants to notice her, or already has. And then there's social media. The captions get bolder, the selfies get more frequent, and suddenly her posts are curated like a catalog. Strategic, flirtatious, visible. You notice people you don't recognize liking her pictures, commenting, fire emojis, looking amazing. And she never used to care. Now, she checks her phone like it's oxygen. This isn't insecurity, it's marketing. Whether it's to get attention, maintain it, or quietly announce a new version of herself, her image becomes a performance. And every post that excludes you, every story that hints at a single life, every selfie that screams, "Watch me," isn't just content. It's a message, and here's the part that cuts deep. Sometimes she wants you to notice, not because she wants your praise, but because she's already emotionally moved on, and your confusion confirms it. You're not crazy for feeling like she's trying to become someone else. You're watching her step into a version of herself that no longer fits the life you built together. When appearance and social presence shift radically, and you're not part of the reason, it's time to look deeper. Because she's not just changing how she looks, she's changing who she wants to be seen by. Guilt, masking behavior and overcompensation when a woman cheats, or is thinking about cheating, she often becomes nicer, more attentive, strangely affectionate. She starts doing things she hasn't done in months, cooking your favorite meals, giving you unexpected compliments, initiating intimacy. At first, it feels like a miracle. You think maybe we're reconnecting. But behind that kindness may be something far more unsettling: guilt, and her attempt to silence it. This is called overcompensation, a common psychological defense mechanism. It's when someone tries to balance immoral or disloyal behavior by acting overly moral, generous, or kind. Essentially, she's trying to cancel out her betrayal with goodness. And the more she gives, the more you're left in the dark. Guilt doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like gifts, surprise date nights, sudden emotional openness that doesn't feel real. It's performative, not intimate. It's not about deepening your connection. It's about easing her conscience. And while you're caught in the warmth of this new attention, you miss the cold truth underneath it. She's trying to convince herself she's still a good partner while breaking the very trust that defines love. One moment, she's distant. The next, she's all over you. This inconsistency isn't affection. It's emotional whiplash. It's a tug of war between the version of herself she wants to be and the version she knows she's becoming. She may even talk more about the future, make long-term plans, or suddenly bring up memories from the past, anything to anchor the relationship in place, while she lives a double life. But the most dangerous part, it works. You start second, guessing your instincts. You push down your suspicion because her behavior looks loving. But love isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency. And when kindness is weaponized to hide betrayal, it's no longer love. It's manipulation. So don't be fooled by the honeymoon phase that comes out of nowhere. If the warmth feels performative, if the sweetness feels suspicious, ask yourself, what changed? Because sometimes the most dangerous lies are told with a smile.